Welcome to Baking with Frank. Frank Rush was a baker at the turn of the 20th century at the Uffelman Baking Company in Cincinnati, and then at his own bakery in Newport, Kentucky. Frank was also my great-grandfather. Through his handwritten batch-sized recipe book, I'm breaking down his recipes and getting to know him better. I'm Tom Mattingly, and this is Baking with Frank. All right, welcome back to Baking with Frank. So today, on another snowy day, we are going down the Effie road with one of Effie's recipes. She has two of these in Frank's book. As you'll recall, Effie took over the cookbook after Frank passed and started putting her recipes in about 1941. What we're making today is baking soda biscuits. Now, we're making baking powder biscuits. She also has a baking soda biscuit recipe. So we're gonna try the powder ones first, see how that goes. Okay, so we had so much fun making the baking powder biscuits. You know, I thought it might just be time for a great American F-off. And we're gonna make the soda biscuits today. So what you're gonna see is a little bit of intermingled. So my clothing's going to change a little bit. I'm not going to change my clothing in front of you. I know you're disappointed. But here we go. This is a fairly simple recipe. There is no KitchenAid needed for this one. We're just going to do this one by hand, but we do get to use my favorite spoon, which still has its burn mark, which we won't talk about right now. So to start us out, I am going to, let me turn you down here so you can see what's going on. I am going to put 2 cups of all-purpose flour into the bowl, along with 4 tablespoons, mercy, of shortening. Yes, I am using Crisco. I am a good Cincinnatian. And we are going to use an old-fashioned pastry cutter. And just cover that up a little bit. And cut this into the flour, just like that. And my understanding is that this creates air in the biscuit when the shortening melts while it's baking. It releases a little puff of air that makes the biscuit rise. I'm sure that the baking powder has something to do with that as well. So, very similar recipe. So we're just going to get right into it. 2 cups of all-purpose flour, just like yesterday. And this time, the recipe also calls for 4 tablespoons of Crisco. As noted yesterday, we'd use butter the next time. We're using butter. So, get that in there. Same little cutter, we're going to cut that into the flour, just like that. So, all right, so I'm just going to put everything else in. So we have a 1/2 cup of milk going in like that. We have 2 teaspoons of baking powder up in there, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. Both going in, just like that. I'm gonna give these a mix. See where we get. I have the oven heating to 350 behind me. Scrape that off. Just get in there with the hands. So we know that Effie died in the early 50s. So these have not been made for at least 70 years. So, nice chance to revive Effie here a little bit. There we go. All right. Now, favorite spoon, still in evidence. Still has the burn. We're not going to talk about that. And in goes 1/2 cup of milk. Now, Effie's recipe calls for sour milk. I don't have sour milk, so we're just using milk. And a teaspoon of salt and a half tablespoon of sugar. And a half teaspoon of baking soda. That's it. Mix that up. All right, coming out of the bowl. I'm gonna retain that. I'm gonna do this just the way Mom used to. Mom never took the time with a rolling pin for biscuits. I'm not gonna either. Press it out. Preheating the oven to 350 again. We are going to go for 20 minutes this time. See if I can get into one homogeneous mass here. Homogeneous mass would be a great band name. All right. We are, though, going to use Mom's biscuit cutter. Mom had 2 of these. My brother has one because, and I'm not even kidding, after Mom passed, I was standing in the kitchen and I pulled it out of a drawer in their kitchen. I pulled it out of a drawer and she immediately said, "That goes to Todd," in my head. So clearly we listened to our mama, so it went to Todd. It's not a big recipe, that's for sure, but I'm okay with that. Another Mattingly Brothers fact with brothers: when we were kids, there was always a little left over. Mom would bake that along with it, and it was always a fight of who got the little donut. I rarely won. All right, so we are at 350 on the oven. These are going in 10, 12 minutes. Let's see what we got. And start cutting. We can get one more full size out of there. To note, I did not get the little biscuit yesterday. My better half came home from work and promptly ate it. So we'll see how that goes today. All right. Same game, 350, 20 minutes. All right, so in the end, it took 20 minutes, not 10. And they are, I'm gonna say, tan, but I didn't want to burn them. So we're gonna give these a shot. And, you know, the traditional way in the Mattingly household to eat these is, of course, with gravy. I didn't really have the time or the ingredients to make gravy, so I'm going with my second favorite, which is just some good old butter and some jelly. In this case, it's a organic 4-fruit spread because, you know, cholesterol. Ooh, crumbling on the bottom. That's a good sign. Here it is. It's one of the tastiest biscuits I've ever had. It'd be better if I made it with butter. Next time I make it with butter. That's all right. Okay. Baking powder versus baking soda. Yeah, there's not a lot of difference there. So, here's the baking soda biscuits. I will say they are much drier and more crumbly, but we're going to eat them anyway. All right, there she is. It is
So it might be that it's basically the same recipe, but also a damn good biscuit. The winner of the Great American F-Off is me, because I got biscuits.